Hi, everybody. Hello, world. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for your trust and support. We really appreciate it. Another beautiful day under the American sun. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, everybody. I love you too. Thank you very much. Today, it's important to me because there's a lot of information that is coming with a very negative info. And my job is to constantly redirect the collective consciousness of everybody that is following, including my own, to move ourselves into a positive thinking. And because I had a lot of emails from people, oh my God, did you see this information or did you see that information? But what's really happening, and I've seen this now for quite some time, some of this information that is very disturbing is coming from my community, from the awakening community, from people that are channeling, from people that are talking to God or whoever that is. Remember, I don't separate you better than the other one, because within the quantum structure, everybody is on truth, but we're going to go back into it. I'm going to explain the stuff. This is the reason why we need to have refreshing of certain things. And I'm going to go through quantum structure again. I have a message from this time, believe it or not, is the collective consciousness of the Council of Nine, which this didn't happen before. And what they explained to me that, for example, when you're talking to the Council of Nine, I told you that they're overseeing the extraterrestrials, but they also have a right to oversee planets. So it's like a hierarchy of different platforms of realities that they coexist in parallel timelines. And into the parallel timeline, for example, you can be from different types of parallel timelines, and you could be from the planet Earth, or you could be from some kind of a Arcturian, or from Omega cancellation, or whatever that is. You actually are being chosen to be part of some kind of a committee that is part of these councils, and they're different type of councils. But I can talk only for the ones I know, okay, and the ones I experiencing. So when something like this is happening, when you go through, for example, a parallel reality, and for example, you are in a planet Earth, and if this is the planet Earth and you experience some kind of a reality in the planet Earth, everything that is coming from the other dimensional sequences, and that could be extraterrestrials, for example, here, and that could be the councils and different type of things. So now the councils are taking care of the extraterrestrial. They oversee extraterrestrial existences. The extraterrestrials can oversee, for example, three-dimensional or the humans, or some kind of other dimension. But the councils above the councils, they told me, is the priesthood. And the priesthood is very advanced consciousness that are basically, they making decisions even for the Council of Nines, different councils. So it's this hierarchy, and is based on knowledge, actually. It's based on what you have experienced and how much your soul learn from all the parallel timelines and everything collectively. Your soul becomes this enormous potency of vibration, and based on that vibration that holds so much information and knowledge, you can be rewarded and or chosen to be part of these councils. So now the Council of Nine, remember, when watch my frequency and my stuff, they saw that no matter what I've done, what was done to me, I never went after somebody physically to destroy them, but I will create situations that I teach everybody how we can escape from that. And that was a natural process in my family, in my bloodline, and everything that I was doing. It was embedded in me until I got contacted from the hybrids, then the raw spark of consciousness of Ra. And you have to understand that you could be, for example, part of the Council of Nine, right? But the collective, which is developed by a lot of them, for example, but each one of these councils can live in different timelines. But they've been chosen to be part of that committee of the Council of Nine, okay? And they now, when something like this major happened, decided to come collectively together. That's why that information I have today is from the collective consciousness of the Council of Nine. All of them that basically belong in that committee, you know, in that covenant, for example, that they call it the Council of Nine. They're from different timelines, different entities. And they never told me exactly who is from where, because they told me the only thing you need to stick is to the quantum structure, because the quantum structure of manifestations, the bylaws of the quantum structures are basically, they cannot lie to you. It's like a math. So no matter what I say and what I do, if you go into the quantum structure of all the information, it's already proven by scientists that it's true. You know, otherwise nobody will invite me here and there to talk about it, when the major scientist is actually a genius in maths and you know, physics. Okay, I'm talking about Gaia, for example. You know, the person that owns Gaia is a nice guy, but he's a genius in math and you know, all the stuff. So nobody will invite you to be there and to present stuff if you're not for real. So if you stay with the information of the quantum structure, you pull away from all that realities that they could be infiltrated or manipulated, these different worlds that were created within consciousness itself. So they came in together. So basically, this is their hierarchy. Above them is we had a connection with the 11-dimensional beings, that they were also part of almost like a councils. I remember when they were coming was always a group. I can feel the consciousness is like a group, and they will talk and they will discuss different things. Okay, from the 11-dimensional beings, if you remember, there was a video, Stop, Transform, and Let Go. That video, they were telling you how you stop in the frequency, how you transform in it. So there's a lot of layers in this quantum structure. So because of the information that collectively this was given, and there's somebody in a 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, because now we shift into the next level, there are a lot of people that downloading information and channeling from different structures, and a lot of people pointing fingers, this person is right, the other person is not, and all this stuff. But let's go back into the field of consciousness. I don't care who says what, who points finger, how they think they're the ones that know everything. There's no such thing. Because why? Because within the quantum structure, we're going back to basics. And by the way, when I do, I'm going to start doing private workshops, you know. When we do the private workshops, we're going to discuss a lot of this stuff until I build the AI platform so everybody can learn in their own time. Okay. And in consciousness, remember, when consciousness is creating, it's creating within the self, and everything itself, everybody has a different reality. That is basically the subatomic particle. That subatomic particle goes into the smallest of the smallest and goes back into infinite. And within itself can create infinite parallel timeline, that each timeline has a different frequency. We talk about this stuff. But even the collective consciousness that you're projecting from that one particle, imagine you're here and you project frequency and you create and expand your consciousness to be its own particle. So within your consciousness, you actually have the consciousness itself, and you create another multiple realities. So everybody within your collective reality could be completely different people. But within their reality, they're also going to create collective for themselves. So imagine in that soup of creation, every person projects a frequency and creates another collective. This person projects something else, but how did they projecting? From their emotion, thoughts, and deeds, and becomes another one. So basically, that is the subatomic particle that is splitting up, reprinting as another version, but each person creates based on their interaction of that laboratory of creation, the way they thought, they end up behaving and thinking and everything else. They created completely different resonance than this one, for example. If this is, for example, for the sake of learning, blue resonance, based on your thoughts, emotions, and deeds. The other person created a red resonance based on their interaction, thoughts, and deeds, and actions. But they're within the collective consciousness of God creation. But each one in God creation has its own reality and creates its own parallel timeline. And within this parallel timeline is infinite subtonalities of realities that each consciousness can exist. If this particular structure here is, for example, fifth dimensional, within fifth dimensional is a lot of layers of parallel timelines, but are similar on vibration that they match in the subtonality symphony of the fifth dimensional timeline. And that goes for each thing. So now, if we go into the subatomic particle and we say that that particular reality within the collective now is in a timeline of three-dimensional timeline, that in three-dimensional, remember, this is a particular timeline under the umbrella of consciousness. So now here you have all that breakdown that each person gets its own reality, its own subatomic particle. They can create whatever they want, and yet they're under the umbrella of three-dimensional parallel timelines. So each person that is now working here, and because we're Ascension, remember this is under now the umbrella of Ascension, Ascension, consciousness, and God is actually activating this whole timeline to start vibrating with the new frequency. So it's downloading from consciousness down in a three-dimensional structure all these new resonances, and everybody like us that is into it, doesn't matter you have a blue light or red light in consciousness, will receive the frequency vibration from consciousness that is coming because it's moving to the next level of evolution. But because of the free will, you may choose not to believe or to believe whatever really is happening. Okay, but the amnesia that is happening here, that a lot of people that downloading information above the structure of three-dimensional, remember we were talking, if this is the 3D, now you're downloading information from the 5D, or you end up channeling extraterrestrials or different type of councils. If the person here within three-dimensional structure, because remember we move into the next level, decides from the free will to do something negative, for example, they don't want to forgive the karma that they collected through whatever they did, but in order to move to the next level, if you remember the bylaw, you got to clear out every single frequency from the old version of yourself. So you can download all this new frequency from consciousness that is coming if you do not get rid of and forgive, forget, and move forward with your actions of the old version of yourself. So you have to choose. But what's happening here is because in order for you to sustain yourself, to have this particular livelihood that you created, it goes into the ego. You're comfortable. For example, you're making a lot of money, or all of a sudden, if somebody comes in with a different ideas, you got to break your ego down or really start thinking if this is possible. And if you went so much into the ego or the money or the fame or the glory or your behavior, for example, towards your family, that will lower the vibrational sequence. And when it lowers your vibrational sequence, for example, all that from the red, for example, will become a dark force resonance, and you will lower the vibration within your timeline, and you're going to drop the timeline in the lower spectrum of vibration. If that happens, even when you think that you're downloading information from extraterrestrial or stuff like this, the signal becomes distorted. And if the signal becomes distorted, that consciousness, that channeler no longer have the proper sequences that are coming from consciousness itself, whoever they connected to. And the person, because of maybe of ego or disillusion, they can create their own version in reality within all that stuff, and they're starting to put into the collective for everybody. It doesn't matter, and in that collective could be people with blue light, red light, all this mishmash of different resonances, and yet they're all under the umbrella of Ascension through three-dimensional, four-dimensional, fifth-dimensional, and above. If that happens, that person, because it's reality within the reality, remember that, reality within the reality, which we talk in season 5, episode 13, we talk about that, when they post that information, whatever they downloaded already with distorted signal, they can post that information, and that information will go into the collective parallel timelines within the consciousness of three-dimensional ascension. So everybody will see it. But when everybody will see it, the person that has, for example, more enlightened will see through the veil of the distortion and say, listen, that doesn't make really sense because I got this type of information. The truth is, every single person, no matter what vibration they're holding into their fractal expression of itself, everybody has a fractal reality, moment to moment, their own world, they're true for themselves. So even if you downloaded some kind of a negative information, that negative information holds a vibration and it's true for itself for that particular person that lowered the vibration. Because if they're downloading information, they may download information of a parallel earth that already is pre-existing, that did not make it. And I already told you within consciousness that everything is existing already, and we already had a parallel reality timeline that we exist, that we did not make it. And the ones that we didn't make it, they connected with the ones timeline that made it already, and this is how they started collaborating. So they helped humanity and consciousness to move to the next level, because they realized that everybody is under the umbrella of consciousness, and it's a bylaws that you cannot escape, because this is how metaphysics and alchemy of creation works, period. So because of that, this particular person, the lower the vibration and channeling the information, can download information of a parallel timeline earth that these things are happening. And things got betrayed, that all of a sudden the galactics are not helping, because at that time, everybody was learning. But that modality was not under the umbrella when consciousness itself was moving to the next level of evolution. We're in a situation right now that consciousness itself, God itself, is moving in the next level of vibration. And because of that, even if you download information, if you don't match the frequency, you stay in a lower sequence. And that's why anybody that is doing something negative will not be able to move forward, because consciousness is moving forward. It's no longer going to give you a pocket within the reality. When we talk about longitude, altitude, and position, will no longer give you a position for you to keep staying in a negative structure, because itself is moving and shifting all the structures to positive. Okay, so this is the reason in season 7, episode 22, we talk about the power of 10, how each person can transform the negative to positive. And if you shift to positive thinking, no matter what somebody is telling you, you are going to transform, you're going to transform your vibrational subatomic particle from the nucleus with positive frequency. We have a meditation about that. Remember the New York meditation? It was telling you how you're going to go in the nucleus and command white light, and then you shift from there and create a new reality with it. So this is all quantum structure. So what they told me, so if that particular channeler end up dropping somehow the vibration of its own existence, maybe for some reason, we don't know what the reason is, they can download information that is a parallel reality of an earth that did not make it. And now when you pose that into the collective consciousness for everybody in an ascension timeline, it becomes a complete confusion. But if you know the quantum structure protocols, I promise you won't make a mistake to stay in a course of ascension, because you must realize that we already made it individually, and you are creating within your individual to the collective. How are you making it every day, moment to moment, structure by structure? So it does not matter what somebody says, positive or negative. It's your free will to choose to accept that frequency, to enter your field, or to say, I understand, you show me your belief system, blue light of consciousness, you're showing me what you're saying there, or black light, you're showing me what's really happening there. But I know that in my reality of creation, everything is moving to the right direction through Ascension. And then you physically have to choose to interact and see people for the blue light, the red light, the yellow light, the white light, information there. Why? Because if you go to the people that is giving you a positive information, if they truly downloaded positive information, we're not talking here for the crooks, because there's so many of them to sabotage Ascension. And if you're really the information for people that from the hearts, they really downloading positive information, allow that frequency to go into your consciousness, because then you infusing and amplifying the positive structure in a timeline for Ascension. And that is the goal, because then the potency of the vibration that you projecting and collecting back out of the field of consciousness will help you to match the resonances like a magnet towards Ascension timeline. Understand everything exists. So even the people right now that gave you information that, oh my God, all the galactic, they left us. We left, that's it, we done. That is information out of the collective field of consciousness that could be in from a parallel timeline, but it's not the Ascension protocol timeline, because in Ascension protocol timeline, everybody is working together, ETs, higher consciousness, because they know that if we don't do that, everything goes down the drain. We're all interconnected. Why? Because the extraterrestrials, the Council of Nine, is a constructive element from the subatomic particle within the collective, and we all connected through frequency. That is your bylaw. Stick with the bylaw. You won't make a mistake. It doesn't matter who says what to cause massive hysteria. That is their belief. It does not have to be yours. So their respect to them also, because they truly believe that this is the truth. If they're really downloading something like this, again, we're not talking about the crooks, you know, the manipulators, because there are a lot of them. So it's very important for you to stay on target, and your target is do good, do the best of yourself, be the best of yourself, project the best of yourself, interact and co-interact with people, consciousness, actions, animals, trees, anything you want into the positive, because then you're going to collect of the same. When you project, you'll get the same. This is a quantum bylaw, because within the quantum bylaw, again, you cannot think of something, anything, if that thing that you're thinking does not already pre-exist in the consciousness itself. But in order for you to even think of it, you have to know the vibration first in order for you to think it. And now this is happening at the same time you think of it, but pre-exists, but you got to create it right now to even see it. Why? Because there's no time. Everything is simultaneously running. So even if they give you a message that we left, we're behind, oh my God, we didn't do it, what are we going to do? That is an illusion of somebody's download. Including my information is an illusion within your consciousness, but is a constructive element that is giving you solutions by bylaws, so you can use them to create whatever you wish, because you're already free. You're already free. You just need to construct the way you want reality to be free, because even when you're trapped, you're still free to construct that reality to be trapped, because you created it in the first place. So that's why I love shows like this and stuff I do, because I want to bring you back into the field, because it was literally emails after emails. Oh my God, this famous person said that, and that famous person said that. Please, it doesn't matter what somebody says. It's your truth. You can accept it or say, I understand, however, my reality is this, because you cannot create another, you cannot reject another version of yourself, even if they talk negative. That's why you don't see me, oh, that's not true. I cannot believe they said that. What reality are they downloading the information? How can I reject my own version that they're downloading probably from some other part of the reality, negative information? It's almost like you have a couple of neighbors, and each neighbor is saying different stuff about you. And which one do you want to accept? Which one of your neighbors you're going to be friends with? the people that are nice to you. You're not going to go in the mouth of somebody that is spitting in front of you every single time. You may try to correct it. For example, this information will go out, and I'm sure the people that is downloading this negative info may go to them. But it's up to them to accept what I'm saying. I don't blame you that all of a sudden you don't believe what I say. It's your truth. Because in consciousness, every information, it's called its own position. It's true for itself, but will manifest individually based on whatever you allow to penetrate within your field. Because whatever they're projecting is a frequency, sound, vibration. That frequency, sound, vibration holds a reality that manifests based on your beliefs, based on your acceptance. It doesn't matter. You remember, it's singular subatomic particle that reflects to infinite, and each infinite reflection itself creates its own universe within the universe and within the universe. So why not accept the positive and stay with it by constantly lowering your vibration by listening to negative stuff? And this is what they told me. Stay out of social media. You know, the platforms that I'm not going to name which platforms. We know the platforms. But if you engage in some platform, watch something positive or put something positive. If you stay in a pickering and who said what and who did what, and becomes like a psyop, like a saga, you know, with all the stuff, they said this is the old program. You're downloading it within your consciousness, and the only way you can project something is based on a sequence that you constantly were choosing to interact with. So who cares who said what? You create reality that everything is moving forward. The only thing in consciousness, because it's 360 degrees and multiple timelines and realities to infinite, you're not going to know how it's going to mobilize to manifest for you from the etheric structure to the matter. This, we heard the first time from the Council of Nine, 1 + 1 = 3. Until they say, wait a minute, we're talking here plasma. We're talking here energy. When you say 1 + 1 person equals 2, right? But if 1 + 1 person makes a baby, and when you count 1, 2, you're not going to end up with 2, you're going to end up with a third person. Nobody taught you about that. This is the first time I heard from the Council of Nine about this structure, because they were talking about etheric field, which were left out to be, because if you know etheric field, everything manifests by frequency and sound. You can mutate everything the way you want. You can heal, you can mutate, you can shift. That's why the galactic meditations sometimes could be messages, sometimes could be anything, because we're learning in subatomic particles how to create everything. So please, no matter what messages you hear, no matter how famous somebody else is, please, if it's negative, does not have to be your truth. Create a reality within your own field of ascension, timelines, multiple timelines that will interact to help you ascend. That doesn't mean that during that process, remember that, because it's realities within the realities, and from 3 we mutate into the 4th. But I told you that 3-dimensional structure has multiple realities of parallel timelines that are all interacting in similar vibration, and yet they could be very different on vibration. The ones that are very different in vibration and have more light frequency from the consciousness itself and higher resonance, they will be able to move through the barrier of that field and shift into 5th dimensional. But even when you do that, you constantly have to fluctuate. And when something is being given to you in the collective of the 3-dimensional in a negative, you still have to transform it physically into the positive by taking positive actions and not allowing negative info to completely penetrate. And now you drop the frequency into fear, and then you will not be able to convert it, and you will experience it. Because the only thing for you to do is to experience what you collected back. Whatever you projected and whatever you collected back, and vice versa. So remember, everything is a resonance. How do you possibly want consciousness to give you something when you yourself gave the command of something completely different? You separating your heart vibration sequence with your consciousness becomes duality, and now it's starting to fluctuate. And the only thing that will manifest is whoever has a more potent vibration of it. But the more potent vibration will be of the negative if you interact constantly with the negative information, because you're downloading the sequence of the negative information within the field. So of course the potency is going to be more predominant than negative denominator, and you're going to project reality and shift yourself into a structure of parallel earth that the negative is taking over. And yet the end result, even if the negative is taking over, the trajectory will not sustain itself, because consciousness now is moving through the entire structure, not only parallel structures within itself. That is very important, because I'm hearing over and over the scare things. Okay, you downloaded information. Tell me, when you download information like this, what is the solution? What are you going to do? Oh, this is somewhere in another planet and they left us. And now what are we going to do? Where is the solution? And here's the panic mode happening. If you download something, if you remember we had a video, you download something, make sure whatever you download, even if it's negative, give a solution. You can't just download, shove this into people's faces and expect people not to get into fear. So if you have to point out information from somebody like me or somebody else that's talking for solutions, point it out. Because in order for us to move forward, collectively, we have to work with each other, and not who is more famous than the other and who is right and who is wrong. And now you're sitting pickering and pointing fingers and all this stuff. You know who I'm talking about, the psyop that is happening right now. Not only political, but also in my community. Because the people that actually came here to really point fingers and to do, they do not give service to humanity and to think that you are the only righteousness. Is nobody else. That is disillusion. Because everybody else that they see with their own structure is another version of them, and they're rejecting it. And this is why their own reality is going to go down the hill now. Okay? That's why the council says, we're not going to pick you by your glory and by your fame. We're going to see how you interact with people, what you're doing during the process. Because a lot of us came here to do a lot of positive stuff, but during the process, as soon as you become more famous, as soon as you do all this stuff, or what did they tell you about the financial? I said, this is not it, this is not it. Watch out with digital. Not because it's bad, the system, because I don't know who is controlling it at what time and when it's going to be good enough to be secure for people. This is the problem. Not because I'm against the digital. That's not the case. I told you we're going to go gold, we're going to go digital, we're going to go exchanging with money. It will be another infrastructure, but that's just a trajectory. Eventually, from your consciousness, you're just going to manifest whatever you want. But the people, for example, that made a lot of money, they're going to raise the consciousness to such a level that they're going to want only to do philanthropy. That doesn't mean the money is not good, but it's just a trajectory how things are going. So for you to come and say, you ruined my life because you told me Bitcoin is not going to be good and it's going to be manipulation, you can't hold somebody responsible for your own actions that you have taken or not. I told you the truth. It could be manipulated. How can I possibly tell you, oh yeah, invest here or invest there, when you may go to somebody that to manipulate you and lose everything? I cannot put that on my consciousness. So for you to come and blame somebody for your deeds, it's a complete disillusion of the reality. So you got to be smart who you listen to and how you interact with the stuff. Everybody creates their own reality. Because during COVID, some people made more money than they ever did, and some people lost everything for lessons. It's all for lessons. So we have to be very careful. Let me just drink a glass of water. And that was very important to me to tell you guys, because I see this over and over again, massive fear. And look at what this person said. Look what these people did here. We cannot just pray. We have to unite. But I also be in contact from people that I knew years ago, and they've been working quietly, and all of a sudden this major stuff is happening behind the scenes with the right people, that they're actually looking for each other and we uniting behind the scenes, because the right people gotta come in fruition, not the people that think about fame, glory, and money and charging people like millions of dollars in order information to come out. Okay, you can project a frequency to somebody and charge them $1,100 because you give them a sequence of frequency. Imagine if I was doing that. That's wrong, guys. I mean, maybe it's a judgment, but I care for you, and I want, if you make a living through easy. If I charge something, I'm gonna charge you easy money. You know, if I do the system with the AI, it's gonna be easy, something that you can give like $25 to $35 with thinking. They were telling me actually the frequency with the light, because I was thinking like 15. They told me the sequence of that energy is not good. You gotta lower it, and they were telling me, you know, how to do. But at the same time, I have the balance with all the information. We're hiring people. We work on the net. You're gonna like what we're doing. So now I'm gonna read you the information from the collective consciousness of the councils. Basically, it's not only one individual that coming from the council talk to me. It was a lot of them that are coming from different clusters, different stuff, and they come in, they say, let us tell you what's really happening, because what was said in that video, I'm not going to say what video that was, who is posting it, the people are just giving information, okay, from whatever reality they're downloading it. But they were they were not upset, but in that thing was claiming that the galactics, whatever galactic basically left us behind, and that was for their agenda and all the stuff and whatever that is. Okay, good. I don't blame the person, whatever. Yeah, the Galactic Federation. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, the Galactic Federation is holding us behind and all the stuff. There's a lot of layers into that, guys. The reason why the Council of Nine did not give me a lot of information about the planet, because they cannot prove it to you. I cannot prove it to you that something happened on the planet. If I tell you, oh, in Zumbu Zumbu planet, liberation happened. How do you know? How can I prove it to you that Zumbu Zumbu planet this happened? Zumba Lumba. Nobody will know. So with all the respect that somebody is, of course, downloading information from different planets and stuff like this, but it will happen through synchronicity. This is the reason why everything with me was quantum structure, because even if you think I lied to you, when you go to physics, when you go to all the stuff, I've been proving to you through physics, metaphysics, doctors, lawyers, and everything else, what I say is the truth. It's always something to be proven, because they wanted my information by the bylaws of the quantum structure to be unbreakable, to be the core and the foundation of your reality, and you build on it. So you can have the trust. That's what I told you. What's going to happen if I build a system for you to be very happy, and I remove this system? You're not going to be happy? Everything that we been giving here and they've been giving us is for you to be the main core of your creation. I'm not your savior. I'm conduit to push you towards the proper location. And that's what I'm trying to do every time. Okay? I'm not here to give you fear. And I will say, yeah, we see this. Back up, go back to the quantum structure. Now we structure. What do we talk about it? 1, 2, 3, 4 quantum bylaws. Go through the bylaws, then pull back, relax, meditate, look at the meditations that they're giving us. This is a new thing that I'm doing. So it's layers. And what did the councils they do? They see that individual that works with them, and during the trajectory and the process of ascension, if they see that this individual stays in the heart and they keep doing the work the way they should be doing, they give you more tasks and more tasks, because you can handle more. If they decide to pull back, that's a different story based on what the person is doing. That's what they say when I was thinking, okay, for the AI, I gotta take money for that. I understand the energy philanthropy, but in the meantime, I have a balance because you've been giving everything for free. And thanks to the people that supported me monthly and weekly, I'm surviving in some of the sessions. Okay? But when I was thinking I have to pay people 24/7, somebody to do more information, more downloads, I'm going to put there, I'm going to give you a lot of information there. I'm not going to charge you per video the way they did it. I'm going to give you 25 or 35, we'll see based on what I'm going to have to pay somebody in my living, where you're going to see that system, and I'm going to give you everything in there. I'm not going to charge you per video. I'm going to shove everything in there, and you guys use it by your free will. Okay? So very important to understand that we are our own creators, and no need to go in this panic mood, because was that panic mood, the way people were sending me information, oh my God, we left. And I had to pull back and not to say, I said, oh my God, I can't believe this again is happening. But then I have to pull back and not put my ego in, oh my God, I know everything, because it's so normal after all this information, people to get confused. Because I myself get confused sometimes when I didn't listen, I got a smack. They will do everything possible to put you back into proper trajectory, especially when you're connected. But I told you, follow the money, see how people are. And some people, maybe they got off track. Maybe something happened to them and they said, listen, enough with this millions of dollars, go back into the core of what we taught you first. And they redirect and correct everything. Everything is possible. I never take anything as exactly the way it is. I'm just observe. That's why a lot of times when I see people doing different stuff, I don't blame them. I don't blame you for that information that you downloaded. Thank you for letting me know your belief system. However, I respect you, but I'm creating my own reality, my own trajectory, how I want the reality works, because I know the quantum structure. I know how it works. This is the foundation of creation. We can't make a mistake there. Okay? So the tools that they've been giving us is for us to create. You have it. You're free. You're truly free. Then create by freedom. Don't create by somebody downloading information to you from their belief system when it's in a fear download. It doesn't matter. Okay? And let me give you the message. Okay? And this is again from the collective consciousness. All of them came in because I was getting messages and messages and messages. They said, okay, that's enough. All of us are coming, so And they said, we're all here, all of us, that are connected with me from the Council of Nine. And they said, we're the collective consciousness of the Council of Nine. And they said to me like this, to betray the human race is to betray all that it is. And they're talking about the quantum structure. They know the quantum structure. They gave it to us. So if we betray you, then that's going to come back to us. And we're going to manifest of the same. It's never going to work. We have to help you. We have to be there for you. That doesn't mean that there's not negative entities in a parallel timelines that still stay in their evil deeds. But we're talking here for above the structure of that, for the realms that are positive, they're in the heart. The councils, they're the ones that are more awakened. They're the ones that have been going through a lot, and they know the knowledge. And they said, and I'm continuing, we know how consciousness works. So how is it after all this time and work that we've been giving you, there are some people that are still giving negative type of messages? How is that possible? How is this people, of everything we taught you, of everything we've been trying to give into your collective, there's still people that downloading information with negative information? And they said to me, the answer is through their own frequency vibration, basically through their own consciousness, whatever they projected, whatever we just talked about it. Let's just say, they said to me, let's just say that a lot of humans are confused. A lot of humans are constantly listening negative information. When you listen only negative, the frequency drops and their contact of extraterrestrial field, whoever they contacting above their structure, also drops. So if you go in a negative input by your consciousness, action, deeds, or listen to something, you drop your vibration. And then when you're downloading information, your frequency cannot download information from a positive timeline. It can download information of pre-existing negative timeline outcomes. So they said this also dropped the frequency, and the information becomes distorted and comes from a negative parallel timeline that humanity, for example, didn't make it or something happened. They said it's like their abilities and mind of the person that is channeling and listening to the galactic family messages drop the field in a lower vibration. The field becomes distorted and they're downloading information about parallel Earth that did not make it, for example, because in this case, we don't know where they got the information from. Which timeline? Parallel timeline. Also, I'm continuing the Council of Nine, the councils. Also, the channeler itself may have done deeds that are negative to drop their frequency to negative vibration. Could be their greed, could be because they have big ego or fame, could be a lot of different probabilities why that person can get that information. In truth, the people give distorted negative information to their followers. And that is very dangerous zone. Especially now when you constantly have to hold the vibration of a positive frequency. This is creating distortive collective amnesia. The information they were mentioning, 1 + 1 = 3 = 1, basically the fluctuation. If somebody gives you negative information, you can say thank you very much and go and listen to and interact with positive information. So you convert the negative information with a positive input and you overriding the negative signals that are coming with a positive, which you're going to create and shift into. You're like creating a new parallel Earth with a positive outcome that is not connected with the negative information that you received or saw. This is now, this negative info, they said, now is happening a lot. A lot of people are giving negative information. And we ask you, if you do not trust these sources that are channeling and you became confused or off balance because of all that information, please stick to the quantum structure bylaws. So if, for example, you listen to a lot of nice people that are downloading information, they got a negative information and oh my God, all this stuff. Or you, without a solution, because you can get a negative information the way I gave for Bulgaria. Oh my God, don't go into this because that's going to happen. The solution is go ahead and do something about it. But where is the solution with the negative information that the Galactics left us? Give me a solution. So they said, if all of a sudden you become bombarded with information like that and becomes total confusion in your mind without knowing who to listen to, what to trust, they kindly ask us, if you don't believe anything, please, and you become confused, please go and listen to the quantum structure bylaws, because math and physics do not lie. So even if they download information, when you start listening to their information, you're going to realize this is a math, metaphysics, quantum physics of atomic particles. You cannot make a mistake in that information. And start building from there. Go to the core of it, to the foundation of it, and build from there up. When you really get confused, that means, okay, that is just a hologram. I can create my own, pull back, relax, go watch something positive, and now start creating, based on the quantum bylaws, new reality for yourself, because it's singular ascension. You're projecting, you already made it, you're creating how you made it. So choose to make something positive. So they say stay in the core of the knowledge of the quantum structure. And they continue, we gave you all the quantum bylaws more is to come, and how it's working, how the quantum structure works. Based on these laws, please understand that it does not matter of what somebody tells you or what information they give you. It seems that if someone tells you negative message, you have the free will not to accept it. It is simply their belief system and abilities that maybe got distorted. That doesn't mean that is not their truth. We're not pointing fingers, we're not blaming. That does not mean that is not their truth. In their parallel reality timeline that they created, this is how they downloading the information. But it's in a different radio signal, different sequence. Okay? We told you, I'm continuing. So if you listen to a negative, then you build the potency of the negative reality outcome. It's simple as that. We told you that disclosure is individual ascension. The one particle expands to the infinite and collapses back to a singular subatomic plasma field to infinite. And you control that field and what you create in it. All already pre-exist. Choose to create into positive. So these negative downloads are like a radio station and signals. And each station of probabilities can carry a different messages and parallel realities. Ultimately, if you do not like it, what they say or see, just change the radio station. Choose an act to listen positive information, videos, to listen to, interact with positive people. Create positive world by your own positive actions. Now in these actions, that does not mean that you're not going to see somebody gets off balance. But if you see that gets off balance and overwhelming, use the bylaws, the foundation of the bylaws to bring yourself back into a positive. And that's going to be ongoing process through your ascension in a daily basis. Nobody said it's going to be easy. It's challenging, but that's what I said, be strong as a still and compassionate at the same time. It's unity structure with that. So they said, you hold the power of your reality. Do not fall into negative beliefs or you shall create of the same. Yes, they said, the deception is big. We do not deny that. But if you know the structure and its own laws of how creates, mobilizes, you can simply switch and shift to a parallel earth situation and station of your choosing. But to be able to do that requires consistency of the same or very similar vibration, thoughts, and actions. The quantum laws are omnipotent, omnipresent, and eternal. They are the basis of creation, the foundation that is 100% solid to build on it. Never changes. So use it. Use the knowledge for your benefit, and then you will never be off balance or deceived. Some of the people that are channeling this negative information could be downloading from the wrong radio station and unknowingly give this misinformation. So push through the barriers and the veils of the deception. because the information could be from a person that is doing it intentionally, or could be from a very nice person that is channeling information from distorted reality, parallel timeline that humanity didn't make it. And they don't know that. Okay? So no matter what negative you hear, please think, know that there's a lot of parallel realities of it, and create or see whatever you wish to see. Physically, take an action to tune in into a positive information video, people with positive thoughts, create a positive information, positive thoughts, compassion, override with that the negative information by feeling joy, love, and creation at the same time. Imagine, they said, your planet Earth liberation now. Give and feel the liberation now in love, in creation. All exist in the field of creation, in the field of that subatomic particles. You tune in and create whatever you wish in that subatomic particle. All exist in a field of creation. We know that the feeling and the action of love, compassion, and joy will simply shift you to a positive realities where consciousness is naturally ascending. So, act positive, love compassionately, give thoughts, love, and understanding. Choose to help and unite with friends and family and neighbors. Choose that every day, moment to moment, and that will give you your new world and your new beginning of ascension. Because you have chosen the heart, you are the ultimate creators of your realities. So no matter what someone says, it is their truth, not yours. It does not have to be yours. So relax, relax. Now tune in within your heart and feel the love, the freedom, and the peace of the planet Earth liberation. The planet Arya. So the joy of the people, see the joy of the people, the love, and how united you all are. The planet Earth is liberated, clean, joyful. See how everything is in perfect synchronicity. Enjoy your life, enjoy your moments, because you are truly free. So create it to see it. We love you. We love you. We will never deceive you, because we'll be the same for us. But you have the free will to trust us or not. We are simply giving you the quantum laws, and we are hoping for your sakes to create positive for yourselves, no matter what you may choose to be. This is the collective consciousness of the councils of 9. Negative is never in the realms of love. The frequency cannot simply sustain itself or hold its position in longitude altitude, cannot reprint itself. It loses its vortex. So create through love and not fear. And this is how you will become free, truly free, because you're already free. We are simply helping you for you to awaken and realize that you are already free. Well, this is the message for today. Okay. For me, it's very inspiring. It's right on point. Really makes a lot of sense of everything. Again, you do not have to trust me. You do not have to trust these messages, but listen to the quantum structure. See it. Learn about it and see if that makes sense to you, because you have the free will to believe whatever is given. Okay? So perhaps next weekend, you can send a lot of information, maybe in a quantum manifestation network. You can put somewhere, you can contact Lina and you can open up a platform with a lot of questions that we can see them. Again, the quantum manifestation network was suggested by the Council of Nine. You can interact with that by going through my website, and when you scroll down, you're going to see the platforms that I have. In the quantum manifestation network is for you to connect for people like. And if you want to do monthly donation, thank you so much, because with that I support, for example, some people that are helping me. So please go in there, post your questions, and next Saturday I will do only Q&A, because there's a lot of confusion. Also, I'm going to tell you when I'm going to start the workshops. Of course, we asking for suggestion, a donation for that, uh, and I will make it unlimited, because there were so many people. I'm going to do again automatic writing workshop, because there was so many people reach out and it became a chaotic. So I'm going to do it again. We're going to teach. And in these messages, when I do the workshops, please don't expect my workshops to be like everybody else's. A lot of people may have expectations. With me, please don't have expectations, because when I go live, I download information in real time. And I may prepare something, we'll talk about it, but if more information comes in based on the questions, more information will come in. So it may look like something completely different I create as we go. But thank you very much. These workshops will start summertime. I cannot tell you why, because I'm traveling international. And then we're going to put, and I'm planning to do that in Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, because then I know everybody is going to be available at that time. So Saturday is going to be 1 p.m. the regular webinars. And thank you so much for your donations, whoever is supporting me with that. Thank you very much. And Sunday will be the private workshops. But these workshops, I'm going to make it a limited space, because of so many people were asking and became chaotic. Thank you again. Thank you so much. I love you, and I'll talk to you next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye, everybody.